Let's talk about tracking SEO success metrics. In this day and age, I like to focus on landing pages and not search terms to measure SEO success. I'm going to dig into why, but let me start with going over what I tracked in the past. And even that, kind of want to caveat when we're talking about the goal of defining success metrics of our efforts or the efforts of, say, our marketing efforts, how they're successful, these are really about lagging metrics and they're about showing success overall to our stakeholders. But these are not the metrics your SEO experts are going to be using in their day-to-day work. But to a point, that is kind of the point to an extent. Your SEO experts are going to be micro-focused on what they're experimenting with, and they may give you search rankings, the how your search terms are ranking, impressions, all that stuff, but that doesn't really matter or affect your business. They don't show if they're driving real business value, and that's what this video is focused on, the metrics that are going to show you value. And there was a time when I started that tracking SEO success was down to the keyword, and it was pretty easy. You could actually see what keywords drove traffic to your website and how that traffic behaved on your website in Google Analytics. And then you could use that to better track your SEO efforts. But that era is effort. For those of you who know, most of the time Google Analytics doesn't actually share that data anymore. And also, there's a lot going on too. It used to be that the model was a lot easier, and thinking about specific keywords was important because it was using this page rank algorithm, which is a pretty straightforward type of algorithm that looked at kind of the web and how things were linked together. But that's not really how search works today. Google search is a very complex group of algorithms, and many of them are machine learning based, so they're very difficult for the people that build them and support them to fully understand, and they're pretty much impossible for the rest of us. Well, we have this issue not only with Google Analytics, that it's not connected to these Google kind of organic search queries anymore, so we really can't see how these specific sessions that came from those search queries really line up. So you really don't know what search queries are driving value anyway. And more importantly, I think the search query traffic is no longer as critical. You and I can have different results for the same search phrase, and I might not even get the same results that I get later in the day. In fact, I think it's very likely that I've had the top 10 results that I would get listed for a search term might be different for me just a few hours later. So I think keywords are not the ideal way to traffic success. And that's not bad, because keywords are really transitory anyway. What matters today to a specific person may not matter tomorrow, and it may not matter to everybody. So what really matters are your landing pages, the pages people use to get to your site. And why? Well, there's a couple things. So, we could look at overall traffic here and say organic search, but when we dig down to specifically the landing pages, organic, we can really see what are the pages precisely that are driving these organic people to your site, these organic sessions. And it's really cool because for the pages, you have 100% control over that. You don't have very much control over how you rank in the search engines. You can influence it and you can change it over time, but you're always subject to what Google decides. You can also measure this more precisely because you can put web analytics trackers on your site. You can use server-side tracking. You can learn a lot about more precisely how much traffic is coming from these specific landing pages. And most importantly, you can experiment with them on a page-by-page level. So you can get it really granular and see what's working, what's not. And you can track this all for free in, say, your Google Analytics or some sort of server-based tracking. So you have a lot of control there. Even if, say, things like cookies and stuff like that are getting changed, you're going to have a lot of control there of understanding this traffic. So the dimensions that we really reckon for tracking is kind of the top organic landing pages and also the top direct landing pages, and both of those mostly by session is where we start point. And organic landing pages, obvious, they're the pages that are taken, the users come from their Google or Bing searches. But direct, I think, is also something important to keep an eye on because direct traffic is really just a catch-all, and much of direct traffic is just traffic with an unknown source. And over the years, many organizations like SEO Moz has researched the correlation between direct and organic traffic, and there's clearly a relationship. So sessions are a really good starting point, and we want to look at a couple of metrics. So instead of looking at the main view here, and you can actually see our organic, and I could also go in here and do direct and look at those together. But I think it's generally easier. You could use it in Google Analytics, or you could use this in Data Studio and just go ahead and create, custom reports. So here I have the landing pages. I started with e-commerce because I think e-commerce is relatively straightforward. And one of the cool things about it is it has this page value. So generally when you have e-commerce, you're going to have page value. You're going to have that with your goals as well, but you have to assign your goals monetary value. So you might say when somebody fills out this form, it's worth $8 or $100 or $1,000 or whatever. But without that, those don't have any values that can be passed along these pages. So the page value really is how much e-commerce or goal value is driven divided by a number of unique pages to that particular landing page. So you can really see how much these particular landing pages are valuable to your organization. So you want to kind of see, hey, what are the page values or pages with the highest value? What type of traffic are we getting? So I broke this into two groups. One is I just have this broken out where you can see organic versus direct. I can also do a more of a drill down. Let's do that right here. A drill down right here. That's my head's in the way. But if we go ahead and zoom out a bit. Oh, I lost my page. We can see, I'll just zoom this over here, apologize for that. Organic search and direct search. You can see the averages, but then we can click down into organic search and really dig into what are the top landing pages, and you can break it out by sessions because you want to see frequency, but also can see the actual e-commerce conversion rate. I think is important to see the actual rates and the page values and transactions. The page values is more an average. What is the average value of these pages? So we can kind of see what are the ones that have the highest average value, as well as who have the most transactions, who's really driving the most value. And of course, here homepage is going to be very high for this one. That's pretty common. Now, if you're not doing e-commerce and don't have page view value, you can still go in and do a similar thing, but instead of focusing on the e-commerce, you can just really focus on goal completions and completion rate. So you can really see, and you could dig these down to individual goals, but it's great to really see that data together, not only the frequency, but the rate there to see like how valuable these particular pages are. So here you have a lot of sessions, and here this is both your default grouping here. And we can break that down as well. Instead of saying all users, I just want to look at organic search. And once again, you can use these filters right here as well. I can apply that, and then we'll just remove the all users, apply that. And then you can kind of see what is the organic traffic, what are the top landing pages, and how are they converting. So we can see here, homepage, get a lot of sessions, of course. And the goal conversion rate isn't great, but isn't terrible, but it is lower than the average. But we can see when we go down to 3, 4, 5, 6, we can actually see these pages, these Google redesign, these shop by brand YouTube, the men's t-shirts, apparel, and just the store in general have a much higher conversion rate when people are landing directly on those. So it's really an opportunity to say, like, have we been doing work? Did we help optimize? Did we improve things in the men's t-shirt page? And can we see that change over time? So really digging in deep. So from a standpoint of a high level, you can really see, are our efforts and where we spent them, are they making a difference from an organic standpoint? And we can roll it all together as well at the top, see organic traffic, sessions, goal completion, and conversion rate.